Every object stores a local spatial coordinate system for itself. This is XYZ space. Every object also has the ability to optionally store a separate texture coordinate system within itself, and this is UVW space. Every primitive can do this automatically if you check this box. UVW space can be set to real-world map size by checking here as well. For this demonstration, uncheck Generate Mapping Chords. We'll be assigning a UVW coordinate system manually. Convert the box primitive into a mesh. I'm doing that to avoid having that coordinate system automatically generated for me when I assign a mapped material to the object. The fundamental data types will not automatically generate UVW chords. Instead, we'll have to do that manually. Go to the Material Editor and assign a material to the mesh. Then map the diffuse color component of the material and use a 2D map and select bitmap. Bitmap is kind of a geeky term which means image. A bitmap is made of pixels. When you click OK, you're prompted to select the bitmap image file, and I'll select one of these stock photos from the Backgrounds subfolder. I've chosen this CoPP image from Thailand. We see the image repeating on the sample sphere here. And in order to see that on the geometry, you would normally also have to click here to show the map in the viewport. However, we still don't see the image over here. That's because we're texture mapping the bitmap using an explicit map channel. So this is passing the coordinate information to the object. And the object isn't ready to receive that yet because it doesn't have texture coordinates. We have to manually assign a UVW map modifier, and then we'll be able to see the bitmap over here. Now we have a repetition of this image as it's tiling. By default, it's using real-world scale, but this landscape photo doesn't have a real-world scale, like a photo of a piece of wood might. I'm going to uncheck real-world map size here in the modifier on the object, and I'm going to also uncheck it over here in the coordinates rollout of the bitmap. Next, set the tiling to 1 time in U and in V, and you'll be able to see the image fully show up here on the top surface of the mesh. Now, notice that it's streaking down the sides. These are the pixels on the edge of the image, and they are streaking down all 4 sides of the box. You can see the water pixels here going down. Now this is happening because we have tile selected. So the image wants to repeat along its edge. I'll uncheck tile in U and V, and then the image will be cleanly located on the top surface of the mesh. Notice that if you arc rotate underneath, you'll see the map down below. This is the mirror image, however. The boats are on the right side of this landscape, on the bottom here, and the boats are on the left side up here. This is because the pixels are being projected straight through the geometry onto the other side. You can select which plane is being mapped here, I'll use the default. The UVW map modifier has a subobject level called gizmo that allows you to reorient the position of the mapping plane. If I move the gizmo, you'll see that the image is moving in relation to the geometry. This gives us manual control over placement. Note that you can rotate and scale the image as well, and it will map onto the surface of the object as it's projected straight down from the gizmo onto the geometry. Scroll down and you'll find this alignment group. You can view align, and that orients the image according to your point of view. In other words, how you're looking at the object. Fit resizes the image to fit the geometry, but it doesn't reorient it. And reset puts the image back to how it was in the beginning. Manipulate works independently of the gizmo. I'll turn off the gizmo level to go back to the top level. And then I'll turn on manipulate. In this mode, I can resize the bitmap by moving its edges. Notice how its edge turns red here, and I can move it, and this scales the image. This might be easier to see in wireframe. Here I can just grab the image and move it around like that. I'll go back to shaded mode. So this is an interactive way that you can manipulate the bitmap here and place it correctly on the object. Note that this button is linked to this button. They're the same thing. So that even if you're not in the modify panel, you can manipulate the bitmap and move it around.